oftentimes I've seen that these players push that limit, like you're like the limit that we're talking about, because of external reasons as well, right? For example, yeah, Michael Jordan's famous documentary on Netflix, from Chicago Bulls, right? The Last Dance, right? In that he often talked about taking things personally. Like, like someone would say something, someone would do something, and he would take that personally.
But
I
that's by
think,
design. You see, that's by
okay,
design, because like I do it sometimes as well. David Goggins used to
uh,
do this a lot. Like all the hate comments got, he
yeah,
recorded it on a tape, and then he used to listen to it while running, or he put it up in front of his mirror, uh, because in those situations, those doubts, like hearing those doubts, so people doubting you, you push harder. I'm gonna show you what I am and what I've got. And I do this
mm.
sometimes as well. Like, and
I
it's
think
that,
all of us do. Yeah, it's fair.
yeah,
Yeah, all
exactly.
of us do. Yeah,
And
you need that spark. Yeah,
yeah, and when somebody like questions your uh, capability, like not just to yourself, you got to prove it to them, but yourself as well. Oh, I'm show you, I'll show you, like, and it's more so like you prove it to yourself as well. No, I'm not this
absolutely.
person, and I'm gonna show them and me, right?
Yeah, it's more so about actually like how dare they raise a finger or raise a question mark or even bring that thing up. Like,
Yeah.
okay, like, okay, I'm gonna show, like you said, I'm gonna show you that that story is not what you're saying. The story is the other way around. So, oh yeah, I mean, like, look,
It's
apart from
feeding your ego,
yeah,
knowing
exactly.
knowing when to and how to feed your ego to achieve whatever outcome that you want for yourself, right?
Absolutely, and not going beyond that as well, because sometimes if you overfeed it or you indulge in it
Of
a
course,
little
it
bit
can
more,
consume you.
it can be, yeah, it consume you, it can be self-destructive, and then like the
Exactly.
very fabric of your social structure falls apart. So I totally get it,
Yeah.
and that's, I think, a common trait that we see in very high competitive athletes. I want to move away from athletes a little bit, and I want to talk, because I mean, athletes, we talk about athletes and or the people in the limelight, because of course they're in the limelight, they're a part of our pop culture, they're a part of our society, and sometimes often they're not people that we look up to. But I want to talk about high performing individuals in their own respective fields, like Nobel Prize winners or very successful entrepreneurs or skilled
Mhm.
artists. How
Yeah.
about them? What is their self-belief? Is this the same thing that we're talking about with athletes, or is there another
It
thing?
doesn't matter. The fundamental principles apply in each and every situation. It's like gravity. It's not like gravity will work in America. It won't work in Australia. Gravity is gravity. The law of gravity is applicable everywhere. The fundamental principles don't change. So this is what I mean by self belief, right? It doesn't mean you winning, or it doesn't mean, because that is all subjective, right? Winning for one person can look different than other person, and greatness for one person can look very different from the other person. It's about self belief, that you see a finish line and you see yourself standing at the finish line. You talk about Nobel Prize winners, like let's take them as an example. Steve Harvey says, uh, your imagination is a preview to life's coming attractions. Your imagination is a preview to
Like he
life's coming
says what
attractions.
God wants you to have.
Yeah. So you imagine it here before you see it in front of you. If you can't imagine it here, it will never appear in front of you. How the first phone was built, how Wright brothers built a plane, any sort of invention, they thought of it first. They imagined it. They believed that they could do it, even though the whole world couldn't even fathom what they're talking about, be it a telephone line, a TV, electricity, or even planes, right? They imagined it, they saw it, they believed in it, and they collected evidence to strengthen that belief and get to the finish line step by step.